Hi, everyone. So I want you all to think about the last time you went shopping and your experience. Did you know exactly what you wanted and went straight to that? Did you shop around a little bit, tried a few things on? And when you finally checked out, how did you feel? Did you feel a sense of pride and individuality that this wardrobe that you picked was going to reflect who you were? This exact feeling is the epitome of fashion. Fashion has had a long history of means to define and express one's soul through their color choices, fabric designs, and shapes and sizes. As I reflect on my own experiences, I go back to the day of my 12th birthday. I remember feeling so excited to spend the day at the mall and reinvent myself for future teen years to come ahead. So, as I went to the mall, I felt really hyped because I wanted to find the most stylish, the most edgiest wardrobe that I could find because I really needed to impress my fellow preteens at school. So at this particular store, I found this really cool plum leather jacket, like it was so cool, and it looked like this. So I told my mom to get it off the rack because I thought it was amazing. So as my mom helped me wiggle myself into this jacket, I suddenly realized that this jacket wasn't going to fit me like it did on the mannequin. Because due to my scoliosis, my left shoulder is automatically lower than my right shoulder. So the left side of my jacket would fall lower than the right. So it just looked weird. So I was like, okay, let's just put it back. So I scanned the other stores. I was like, it's okay, I won't find my new perfect outfit right away. But the panic hadn't really set in until the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th store we had visited and left empty-handed. None of the clothes for girls at the time fit my body type. And I felt really frustrated, and my confidence just decreased. So, I guess this feeling, you can really relate to it sometimes, right? Being a preteen in general, there is a lot of pressure to fit into society's mold of beauty or to look somewhat normal. And the fashion industry has actually a lot of impact on this. Because in one study done by a group of researchers, two groups of women were given news magazines and the other were given fashion magazines. And as hypothesized, what the group of women that were given fashion magazines were shown to be more frustrated with their bodies and more fearful of their weight gain. So now knowing that the pull of what fashion magazines can do to a vulnerable mind, let's think about the body image issues that disabled people and abled people go through. See, they're relatively on the same scale, but disabled people have to go through one hurdle farther because of their bodies not meeting the societal norm. Because many studies have concluded that disabled people have these so-called discrediting attributes that make it harder for them to reach society's beauty standards, thus resulting in low self-esteem, low confidence, and more vulnerability to mental illness. So while this lack of representation is something that's being challenged with fashion designers and models, there is still a huge lack of representation of the world's largest minority group, which is the disabled community. This absence is one that is tragic, and it's disappointing and just simply demoralizing. Because while this issue is generally not taken lightly in the activism world, it didn't catch my attention until I was much older. It hung out in the very subsided parts of my mind, and it took a toll on my self-esteem and the way I looked at myself. But see, I'm not the only one who seeks fashion that is adaptable to their bodies. In fact, the amount of disabled people left unaccounted for is huge. The area market for fashion for disabled people would be as equal as to the size of China, which would be pretty safe to say that this market could hold a lot of potential for money, success, and confidence that could bring to the disabled community. So the lack of disabled people isn't the problem, but rather the lack of people who are willing to overlook these simple obstacles are the problem. So now knowing that there could be an entire clothing category dedicated to disabled people, why hasn't there been anyone that takes the initiative? Well, let me clear that up for you. Many people have, but not in the way we want. Hundreds of businesses have launched around the world to make clothing easier for disabled people to put on independently. But the one thing that these clothes lack is the lack of style that these clothes have. There we go. These clothes are almost always offered in primary colors. And they're really bland and include metal plastic buttons that haven't been used since, what, the 1900s? Companies like these are just as damaging as the absence of fashion takes part in the self-esteem of disabled people, much because they perpetuate the same stereotype that society projects out constantly. Disabled people are just not fashionable. However, hope is not lost. Fashion designer Tommy Hilfiger, in collaboration with Mindy Shire, the mother of a young boy with muscular dystrophy, have launched a line that caters to kids with disabilities in 2016 called Runway of Dreams. This line has replaced buttons and zippers with magna-ready closures, which are magnets, that make it easier for people with low muscle tone or limb differences to put on independently. So this line has offered so many kids so much confidence. And curious as to how this line has made impact to this particular market, the sales of this line have made up 20% of all children's sales of Tommy Hilfiger. So let that sink in. So I want you to now imagine a world where lines such as Hilfigers could be more commonly seen, such as adjustable pant legs, elastic waistbands, and customizable shoe sizes. That's what I want to see, and that's what I want to create. A line that offers disabled people confidence, individuality, and glamour. This line could change so many disabled people around the world. Because while able-bodied people enter the store and they see that really cute fitted dress or the V-neck top on that rack, they feel a sense of pride, a sense of, wow, I want that. And disabled people often don't get that chance. And I want to change that. Because all my life I've seen that the disabled community has been slept on, and I don't want that to continue any longer. But at the end of my story, I don't want you to feel bad for me or to feel bad for the rest of the disabled community. I want you to realize that this issue is big, and it needs to be something that we start thinking about. It needs to be something that can be so casual seeing in stores, such as the plus size section and the petite section. So all I'm asking from you all today is to think, what do disabled people feel when they enter a store? Do they feel like maybe I might get that, maybe not, maybe I might buy it? So I just want to send out a message: more glamour, more beauty, and more confidence to every marginalized group out there. Thank you.